Thank you for joining and yet for this beautiful day. You see, for the longest time, majority of people have been asking me, David, why do you think as much as it's very cheap to acquire labor in third world country and developing country, why the company themselves don't go and start have their business in those third world country? Because in a third world country, housing is cheap, food is cheap, labor is cheap, actually everything is cheap. You find that if you go and start your work in a third world country, you'll be paying these people very cheap. Actually, it might be half the amount of money which you are paying in first world country. And why don't they go and start there? Well, it is not easy as you may think, because first of all, let's just check on the challenges you'll face as you think to start your company and business in third world country. One, and the most crucial things, is internet. It's becoming, actually it's part and parcel of our life. We cannot be able to live without internet. Right now, the only reason that you can be able to hear my message and watch me and listen to me and love my content, it's because of internet. So companies who are starting this third world country, they need to be able to connect to their mother company, which maybe is in US or in Europe. So they need that internet, because when you are having a meeting, for sure you cannot be going to have a meeting where you will contacting through a phone, or every time you have a meeting you flow to Europe or US, or they come to that country. So you find that majority of this country, it's not that they don't have internet, but they have very poor internet, which is unreliable. You see, you find that most of the internet in this country, it's less than 10 Mbps, and less than 10 Mbps for a big company or a parastatal, it's nothing. Second off, electricity. Well, majority of developing countries are trying, but 90% still don't have a reliable electricity, or even electricity in the first place. Because you find this developing country, electricity is only in these big towns, let's say capital city and another 2-3 towns, which are among the biggest town in this country. You will not be able to find electricity in a rural area. And the challenge arises, in this country you cannot be able to secure a land to construct your business in the town. It's becoming, and even if you secure that land, it will be so much difficult, because to get people who are working to you, who are living next to that place, it's an issue. The other thing is taxation, and this is the most challenging thing, and the only thing majority of the company are so much worried, and the only things that is keeping this majority of company away from coming to work to this country, because taxation is so high to this country, to an extent that the money you'd be saving from working, you'd be saving not working in US or Europe or UK, it will be used, every single pen of it will be used on paying for taxation. Because you find majority of this country, they have allowed 50% 30% taxation or 40% taxation, and there is also, and some of them even don't care whether you are paying taxation for return, they are asking taxation for gross sales. It doesn't matter whether you made a loss or profit. No, you have to pay tax, then you do your math after that. That is a challenge which is making this big company run away from this developing country. Another thing are very qualified people. You see, unless you are planning to go and start a normal work, if you want a high-tech job, if you want a high-tech class of people, you will not get them in developing country. Because what happens is, there is those who are learning and they study and they graduate with everything. They have very good graduation. Actually, you find that person have graduated maybe with computer science and know very well how to maneuver around computer. But the issue we raise is this: those people who have graduated and managed to have that computer science certificate, they are not in this developing country, because at the first place these countries don't have jobs. So what do? Immediately as they finish their college and the schooling, or maybe they graduate from university, they move abroad for a greener pasture, they move abroad for a good job. And by going there, they are denying this small country, they are denying this developing country a chance of ever developing, a chance of ever becoming at least a first world country. And by doing so, you find that this company, let's take for example like Google, cannot even come to those countries, because why would they go? Furthermore, the kind of people who they want, they are not in that country, they are in the original place where they come from. The other issue is, starting a company in a third world country is a good thing, but remember this: unless you are making some very cheap product, you don't have market in those countries. Right now, if I start making computer and selling them, for sure I will not go and switch my company in a country where I know very well if I make this computer, they will all go for exportation and no one will use them locally, unless you are developed or a very established company. Because if it's a company which is established, it doesn't matter where you start or where you'll be making your goods, people knows you and they come to buy those goods. But in this developing country, if let's say for example an iPhone, why do you think iPhone cannot even start their company in somewhere like in Africa? They will have cheap labor, cheap everything. They will have this challenge of electricity, internet, and most of all the iPhone they will make, apart from maybe 1% of them will remain in Africa, the rest will be exported. So you find that the company will be making loss by exporting these goods. You see, you'll be paying for logistic, but if iPhone is treated in US, where they have 50% of the people in US, maybe they are using iPhone, where they'll save a lot of amount of money on transporting this good. Because imagine you are getting your good from Africa to be transported to US only to be sold there. Why can't you start that company there? The other issue, company fail to go and start their business in that world country, is instability. Majority of this country, you find there is political instability, there is all kind of crisis. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. Today you'll wake up and find you are living in a good country, and the other day, and when you wake up tomorrow, you find there is political clashes. This is something that is pushing company away, because no one wants to start a company somewhere you know very well tomorrow you'll not be in that country. It doesn't matter, unless your company is nomadic company, you want to be somewhere stable politically and everything. And this is something which is facing these people, because if I start my company maybe in a certain country in Africa, or maybe in any third world country, I don't know whether tomorrow during election there will be war. I don't know whether tomorrow I wake up and there is coup and I'll have to start moving my company. Instead of that, these people are choosing to go to this more mature democratic country. Yes, they will pay more, but they will have at least, first of all, those people who are there, they are high-end earners, so they'll consume these goods. Second off, they will be having some kind of comfortability, and they will have some kind of peace. The other thing, and the most important, is every company, if you go today and start working in a third world country, well, you'll have a lot of criticism, because people automatically assume that you are using these people, you are out there to benefit on this cheap labor, you are manipulating them. And by doing so, you start having bad or negative backlash on your company. You find that if it's an iPhone starting a company here, let's even take for example iPhone. How many times have you watched news or video of people talking about how Chinese are being manipulated, are being misused, are being treated badly on iPhone setting? Yes, maybe that's true, But the thing is, even in if it was first world country, chances are that what could be happening. But this doesn't mean that every person who go and start a company in this growing country or third world country is misusing them. No, actually 90% of them, it's not their mistake because they contracted someone. Well, they are supposed to be checking if this person who we contracted is doing the right thing or is misusing the workers. But instead of that, this company choose to go and settle some in this country where they know very well it's not their responsibility to take care of workers. The government there have set a very good guidelines, some good laws which are dictating how this company and workers should be treated. By doing that, they will save themselves a lot of money on legal fee, on compensation, on court case, because, and even they will save a lot of money on backlash, because you don't want your company to be viewed negatively as a bad company. And by having that, this is something that is killing the third world country. And chances are, and I can say this, third world country, 90% of them will remain to be a third world country forever. And their biggest challenge is brain drainage. Brain drain is one of the biggest challenge the third world country are facing, because today, if I qualify as an architecture and I am in the third world country, I cannot be able to secure a good job here. What will I do? I'll just move from this country and go to a first world country. Let's say I move to US or Europe or maybe in Germany, and I'll be living there, being paid good amount of money, living a decent and a standard life. But remember, even if that country, it doesn't matter whether it's the poorest country in the world, the government of that country did spend some good amount of money on me. So if I move from my country to another country, my country is losing a lot of money, it's losing a lot of resources, and on top of that, my country would be losing very, very much. So let's say this, it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what we do. Taxation, brain drain, not having good connectivity, poor working condition, poor workers' laws, those are things which will stop that country to grow. And the most important, debt and corruption. Actually, corruption will kill this country, because you find that we go take our debt and we use it very badly, only because we know no one can be able to account for it, and that money end up in some other people's pocket. So what happened? They tax their people heavily to pay for the debt. So that is the big issue. Thank you.